Good evening, everybody, and happy Hanukkah. We're delighted to welcome you to what is in Guthrie, Oklahoma's City Hall, the first ever public menorah lighting. I am Rabbi Karpov, and I am the founder and scholar rabbi of Jewish Center in Indian Country, since 1991, starting in Navajo Nation and Hopi Country, where I was doing interfaith work with Native Americans. And I was writing articles in the paper, and Jewish people wrote in and they said, "Thought I was the only Yid in the area, apparently not." That's the way it is. I was telling Marlene, it's like when the last Jew in Poland leaves Poland, 10 other Jews in Poland come to see him or her off at the train station. There are always more than you thought. Okay, from its roots in 1991, we have expanded. We're over here in Oklahoma now, which was the original Indian Territory after there were lots of Native Americans, and then they dumped about 500 other tribes on top of them. So I think we're here for a reason. I want to welcome some of the Jewish people of Guthrie who didn't know each other so much before. Here is Marlene. Introduce yourselves. Here is Becky.
Grant.
And here's Grant. And Geneva. And
These are friends.
Yeah, we're friends in Geneva.
this is wonderful. And I want to thank you so much for being here. We've got our mayor here and the city manager and all these wonderful people. The press, I can't say enough good things about also. It happened a few years ago in Billings, Montana. Somebody took it into their head to throw a brick through a window that had a menorah in it. The very next day, the Billings newspaper printed a full-page picture of a menorah and said, anyone who wants to stand up against what just happened, would they kindly put this photo of a menorah in their window? And then, is it 15,000? No, more than 10,000 people did. That's more than 10,000 people did so. So we have to give credit. The theme of Hanukkah is to spread the light, especially at a time of increasing darkness. Now, when I was a girl, my uncle, I'm open Orthodox, but my modern Orthodox, my uncle, may he rest in peace, was Reform. And he explained to me about the solstices and the equinoxes and how they are, somehow the Jewish holidays are somewhat connected with that, except Hanukkah, it turns out, is not quite near the winter solstice. But I found out, I bet you did too, the last few nights. Hello, trying to see what you're doing out there. They timed it around the time of year of the greatest darkness because it's at the end of one moon and the beginning of the other, which means the day might be a little longer than the winter solstice, but the moon is either not much or it's not there, and then it's there a little bit. All right. Let's sing Hevenu Shalom Aleichem and welcome everybody, and I'm grateful you're here. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. It means we bring peace, we greet you with peace. The public menorahs, it grew from the first one that was a small lighting in Independence Mall many years ago, and then we just had the 40th public menorah lighting on the ellipse, which is on America's front lawn in front of the White House. According to Chabad, 14,580 public menorahs were lit via Chabad alone, but then there are others. I thought we were going to be the first in the rural Oklahoma northern tier, but somebody up in Stillwater had one a few nights ago, and then there's more activity up in Ponca City. Okay, so it looks like sparks are catching light. It's a beautiful thing to see. The national symbol of liberty and freedom is that public front lawn in Washington, D.C. And the Hanukkah menorah, the images from what's happened have had apparently unbelievable influence. All right, what's Hanukkah? It's historically a minor Jewish holiday. It says in the Mishnah, which is the core part of the Talmud, which is they wrote down the oral law that came down with a written law. They started writing it down. It says, what's Hanukkah? It was a little tiny holiday. It had to do with a military victory, and it had to do with freedom to practice one's faith. It also had to do with freedom from having official, McWorld at that time, religion, imposed on them. At least that was the idea of the Seleucid Greek emperor. After Alexander of Macedonia, Alexander the Great, passed away, his empire was divided, and there was the eastern part with the Seleucid Greeks and the western part with the Ptolemies, which I think people don't entirely realize. The last pharaohs were not Egyptian. They were Greek. Okay. I was sitting reading Maccabees 1 last night, and then I got into Maccabees 2. Wow. All right. So it's wild and bloody and terrible. And then they say, oh, thank goodness, somebody we can trust. He's a high priest, and he's a descendant of Aaron the high priest. That's who got Judah Maccabee dead. And they kept doing this, and then, wait a minute, here are the same names, and who was who? Because they keep naming their relatives after people who have died, and there were lots and lots of them who died. Hanukkah, I think, has roots that go further back. It goes further back into, at this time of greatest darkness, all over the world, they have fire ceremonies like the Yule log, and they have a time of mutual gift giving at the time of our greatest dependence. Maybe also gratitude for people who have helped bring us through and will bring us through into now the light's starting to come back. Not yet, folks. We don't yet have the winter solstice. God willing, we will. Okay. We are so blessed to live in a democracy. I feel blessed to live in a place where I can say I feel blessed. Some of the language around here, I've been bragging to the coasts and other parts of the world about you guys. I said you can say, have a blessed day. And people say, have a blessed day. And they mean it. And if you say it to the wrong people in other parts of the country, they will tear your head off. But you can say, have a blessed day. I'm grateful we're in a democracy where we have freedom of speech and freedom of religion. And these things can remind us to persevere even when things look very grim. Sometimes they look so grim. So there was a military victory. They made it a little minor holiday, like, kids, don't try this at home. They took on this huge Greek army. They somehow won. They were hiding in caves. I imagine if there had been radio, somebody like the Greek Seleucid Rush Limbaugh would have been saying, well, we're still chasing Cave Boy. That's what we're dealing with, is cave people. All right. In recent years, when it comes down to Jewish pride and do we dare light these in public or not, and the neighbors who come out in solidarity, I think it's gotten to be a bigger thing. There's something that made the internet, and it's been going around in the last couple of weeks. There's a photo, and it was just such a good shot, they had to take the photo. Here's the menorah, it's lit in the window, and right across the street is the Nazi headquarters in Nazi Germany. Here's the Hanukkah menorah, here's the headquarters, here's the Nazi flag, and the woman's written on the back that the Nazi party says, Judah will die, and she says, and they say, Judah will live. So now it's 80 years past, and the president of Germany was invited and was grateful to light the Hanukkah menorah, the public menorah in Germany, in Berlin, in the exact place where those terrible marches took place. This is encouraging that sometimes a little bit of light can eradicate a lot of darkness. The story with the 8 lights. According to my teacher, Rabbi Jonathan Omerman, he said, and of course we're sophisticated, we don't like to publicly acknowledge we believe in miracles, but yeah, I believe there are things that defy what we would expect. He said it's really about that little cruse of oil. The Seleucid Greeks had come in, completely defiled the temple. They were able to find one little cruse of oil that still had the high priest's seal on it, and it was expected to last for one night. They needed to get more olive oil made, but if they wanted to be very scrupulous, they needed to be in a state of purity or purify themselves for 7 days. And they expected that little cruse of oil would last for one day. But it lasted, and it lasted. It kept lasting. It lasted 8 nights. Rabbi Jonathan Omerman said that's what it's like. Sometimes the feeling of degradation, of shame, of having been completely violated, of being crushed, it is so deep. You think you can't go on. And he said it's about that little cruse of oil. That's the little drop of the human spirit that's able to renew itself from a source beyond itself. This one in the middle is generally used to light the others, and we put it in an elevated place. It helps others spread light in the world, so we put it a little bit higher up to show that good service, that is really held in high esteem. The public menorah was at Brandenburg Gate. 1974 was the Lubavitcher Rebbe's call to take the message of Hanukkah, not just to Jewish people, because Jewish people don't proselytize, but also to everyone in the world, the message of spreading light. And this year, after the Pittsburgh Massacre, and events since then, the outpouring of love and support from the Christian neighbors, from the Muslim neighbors, the Gentile neighbors, it has been so, we didn't necessarily expect it, but it gives us a lot of hope. Come on, give yourselves a round of applause, folks. Yeah. He says, remember the threat and the response. We've got people to light the menorah. And each of the people lighting the menorah here, okay? I'm going to light the first one, Marlene. I'm going to invite you to come around here, okay? I'm going to say let's see, here we go. Brachas, and then after we light the first one, then we're going to make a statement. Each of you, when you light it, you pull the little red tab, you see, and you flip the switch, and there it is. All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoseinu bayamim ha'hem b'hazman hazeh. After lighting the first light, we light these lights. I'm going to let you read the English here, right there.
Okay.
Why we do this?
We light these lights because of the miracles and wonders, deliverances and victories you performed for our ancestors in those days at this time through your holy priests. Throughout the 8 days of Hanukkah, these lights are holy, and we are not permitted to make any other use of them, except to look at them, that we may give thanks and praise to your great name for your miracles, your wonders, and your deliverances.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is a whole order. I might be tempted to have them sitting there burning and turn back to the computer and go back to work, but I'm not allowed to use them for use. All right. I would like to call Rebecca Luker here up to light the second light. Go ahead, dear. You reach in carefully. You pull out the, that's it, tag. There's a girl. And now you put that in. Thank you. All right, thank you. Come on up. Don't be shy. I'd like you to light the third one, please. How do you spell your name?
Aguirre Grant, or it's Aguirre Luker, Aguirre.
Aguirre, like the film The Wrath of God.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Sometimes that's what it takes. Grateful you're here. Give me your name.
Geneva.
Geneva, like the Geneva Conference. That's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Now you've also got to flip the, that's it.
No.
Nope. And that is why I brought the extra ones in the other room. There's a, they'll hear from me.
Rabbi, where are they?
They're in a bag that looks to
On
be,
the second chair there, right?
Thank you.
On to your right. There you go.
I used to write procedures manuals. Uh-huh. There you go. Thank you so much, Geneva. Want to invite Father John. Where's the mayor?
He's in there looking for your candles.
Sometimes when you are at the top of the organization, you end up doing this work, and I had small congregations, don't I know it? All right, Father Brad Wilson.
Is this the correct bag?
No, it's a white plastic bag from Walmart.
Is it in the,
Is it in your
It
bag?
could be in the basket. He does such wonderful work with the, it's lit but just barely. That says things about the human condition. It is lit but just barely, and that is why I
There.
got extras. Let us have the Pesach Seder over there this past year. Former students from Langston came over, helped me kosher the kitchen. And you keep Sacred Light going in ways that there are cross currents, all these different traditions, and I'm very, very grateful. God bless you, especially the parts you think nobody sees. Father John Borrego, you as well.
Thank you.
Yep. He's got a good open heart and a fierceness and passion for justice, like Judah Maccabee. You and Mother Lynn as well, yes, one hopes.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Okay, thank you. There you are, Mayor Gentling. Thank you so much. You keep things going.
Thank you.
You help new things to happen. You keep old things continuing to happen, especially the parts that if you dropped the ball we'd notice, but the fact that you didn't and things go and continue onward and upward, I think a lot of people notice.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Mishnah says all sevens are beloved. You got the seventh. Who? Help. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
The police officers and everything.
Is anyone,
Supposed to be a tab on the side.
well, I think that's the one that didn't work, and that's why I got extras. Go ahead. Is anybody here, you are police,
Yes.
and I want to know who else is police, who else is military or ex-military? Thank you for my freedom. Thank you for our freedom.
I'm not police, but I dispatch for them.
God bless you. I bet you know some good stories. No, I knew someone who was police dispatcher, and she knew
I think the
good
backup's
stories.
not working, too. Would help if I hit the right switch.
Well, we always think that, but thank you, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. After all the lights are lit, we sing Ma'oz Tzur. Ma'oz Tzur Yeshua si l'chanoi l'shabeach Tikon beis tefillah si v'sham tonad nizabeach Li'es tachin matbeach mitzor hamnabeach Az egmor b'shir mizmor chanukas hamizbeach Refuge, rock of my salvation, to you it is delight to give praise. May you restore our house of prayer, so that there may we offer to you thanksgiving. When you silence the loud-mouthed foe, then will I be able to complete with song and with psalm the ark's dedication. They go on with a vignette about slavery in Egypt. Then they go into the Babylonian exile, good King Cyrus, let us go. They get into Haman and the book of Esther. Occasionally there's a cross-reference. Second Maccabees, there was a cross-reference. Okay. Then the Greeks, meaning the Hasmonean Greeks in the days of the Hasmoneans. But from the last remaining flask, a miracle was wrought for your beloved. Therefore the sages ordained these 8 days for song and praise. Bear your holy arm and hasten the time of salvation. This is a request to the Almighty. Take retribution against the conglomerate of evil, the collective evil on behalf of your servants. For the hour of deliverance feels too long delayed. There seems no end to the evil days. It gets like that. Thrust the enemy into the darkness of death and establish for us the 7 shepherds. That's about it. The custom with the potato lot. Does anybody know how old that is? How old could it be?
Not very.
Because? Right. So after Columbus, then some of the explorers brought them back, and the royalty didn't care for them. So they gave them to the peasants, and they were a hit. But before that, eating things cooked in oil, that was a custom that had to do with this. I suspect it might go back further and even be organic. You notice this time of year when it gets cold, we're starting to crave fats. Apparently we're biologically made to hibernate a little bit in the winter like theirs. And the earlier custom also was food made with cheese, pancakes made with cheese. Anybody want to say anything about some liberation from oppression for which they're grateful?
I would like to say thank you to you, Rabbi.
Yes.
I've lived here for 27 years. My son was bar mitzvahed here because of the Coffin family being willing to put up with the Chabad rabbi in Oklahoma City. And that is really the last touch of anything I've seen in Guthrie. And you've brought some very important things back to my life.
Thank you. I didn't know.
I would like to thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you. Anybody else?
With everything that's been going on in the world, it's incredibly important to keep the lights shining.
Thank you. Yeah, this year was like, do I dare to put the lights in the window? Do I not put the lights in the window? It used to be you put them outside the door, but then things got rough in Europe, and it's like we're going to put them indoors, but we put them in the window. And there's that moment of hesitation. And then people decided they're not only putting the lights in the window, they're going to go to these public menorah lightings in record numbers this year. Yeah, we have these moments. Maybe we should just duck our head. I thought, nah. I'm sending away for a banner. It says, Happy Hanukkah from our Jewish Center family to yours. And I put it outside. 1 night, 2 nights, 8 nights, nothing happens. Thank God. We got a good town here.
Yeah.
Give yourselves an applause, will you? God bless you for coming out tonight. And God bless you for being a place I can say God bless you fairly frequently, fairly publicly, and I don't feel like, am I going to get hit in the head? All right, thank you, folks.
Thank you for bringing all
Be well. I want to give all of you my email address, would you please? I don't have a thing to have people sign in, but it would be nice. I want to give you my email address. It's simple. Rabbi Karpov, all one word, capital R, lowercase a-b-b-i, capital K, lowercase a-r-p-o-v as in Victor, @gmail.com. If you lose it, look in the lower right-hand corner of the worship directory in the Guthrie News Leader, and there's the phone number. But email's probably best, in case I didn't grab the phone fast enough.
We'll have it here in the city.
Hmm?
We'll have it here at the city hall.
Have what hit the City Hall?
Your email address.
Oh, good. Thank you. That's good. Thank you. Very good. Thank you so much.